Just verifying those online can hear me properly. We will call this to order at 5:45 p.m. Starting with the territorial acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the SFSS is located on the traditional, unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Katzie nations. Unceded means these territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up by these nations, and we're currently situated on occupied territories. Okay, moving on to roll call attendance. I believe okay. I believe SFSS, sent regrets. So I'll move on to engineer.
Hi, my name's Adam. All my access needs are met.
Thank you. Mechatronics.
Hi everyone, my name is Aiden and all my needs are met.
Thank you. Software system.
Hi everyone, I'm Fabian. All my access needs are met.
Thank you. This one. Moving on. Cognitive science. Oh. That's as well. Kurt.
Hello everybody, my name is Henry, pronouns he and his. My access needs are just fine.
Thank you. Econ. English.
Hi, I'm Tina, and my pronouns are she, her, and all that.
Thank you. GSS. Oh, sorry, GSWS.
Hi, my name is Jasleen and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. Indigenous studies.
Evan Achtola, all my access needs are met. Thank you.
Thank you. ISSA.
Hi everyone, Iago here. All my access needs are met.
Thank you. Labor studies.
Hi guys.
Hello.
All access needs are met. Thank you.
Thank you. Linguistics.
Sorry about that. My name is Amari, my pronouns are they, them, and all my access needs have met.
Thank you. Philosophy.
Hi, Ashley Flat, they, she pronouns, all my access needs are met for today.
Thank you. Political science.
Hi, my name is Melek. All my access needs are met for today.
Thank you. Sense.
My name's Aya, pronouns he, him, his. All my access needs are met.
Thank you. World languages.
Hi, my name is Richa. All my access needs are met.
Thank you. Bass.
Hi, my name is Mehisidu. I go by she, her pronouns, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. Interactive arts.
Hi, my name is Caleb. All my access needs are met.
Thank you. Education.
Hi, my name is Shivali. My pronouns are she, her, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. Environments.
Hi, everyone. I'm Grayson Bark. He, him pronouns. All my access needs are met. Thank you.
Thank you. Archaeology.
Hi, my name is Mina. My pronouns are she, her, and my access needs, I need to leave at 7:30 today to get to an appointment.
Thank you. Geography.
Here, my name is Justin. All access needs are met.
Thank you. Resource and environmental management. Ethan. Okay, moving on. Oh. BNSS.
Hi, my name is Earthy and all my access needs are met.
BSU. Biomedical physiology. Ken.
Hi, my name is Maria. She, her, all of my access needs have been met.
Chemistry. Andy. Okay. Data science.
Hey, Pranay here, pronounce he, him, all access needs are met.
Thank you. Earth science. Earth science.
It's in the chat.
AL, my name is Eden, EM, all needs are met, may leave at 7 p.m. Thank you. Mathematics. Math. MBB.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ariana, pronouns she, her, and all needs are met.
Thank you. Sus, I believe, regrets, but she said she would be at the start.
Yeah, it's here, but we'll leave at 6. Oh, I don't think they're here right now.
I think that is it. Moving on to our constituency groups, DNA.
Hi, my name is Ante and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. FNMISA.
Hello, everyone. Chris here. He, him, pronouns. All access needs met.
Thank you. OC.
Adriana, my teacher. She, they pronouns. All my access needs are met.
Thank you. Soka.
Hi, my name is Emmanuel. All access needs are met. Yeah. Is there anything else I'm supposed to say? Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Women's Center.
Hi, my name is Noor. My pronouns are she, her, and all my access needs are met.
Archer.
Here, I'm Suika, and my access needs are met.
Thank you. SF Berg.
Rebecca, she, they pronouns, and all access needs are met.
Thank you. Moving on to the execs. VP events.
Hi, this is Ron. All my access needs are met.
Thank you. VP equity.
Hi, my name is Chloe, pronouns she, her, all my access needs are met.
VP external.
Hi, pronouns Joel, name C, Joel, pronounce he, him. My access needs are I am in transit, so might take a minute to reply. If I don't catch that, please just ping me.
Thank you, Joe. VP finance.
Hi, my name's Simmer, she, her pronouns, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. VP internal.
Hi, my name is Sam, my pronouns are he, him, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. VP university.
Hi, Rishi, VP University, pronouns he, him, all access needs are met.
Thank you. Operations manager.
My name is Sindhu, pronouns are she, her, hers, and access needs are met.
Admin assistant.
Hi, my name is Hope, pronouns she, her, hers, access needs are met.
Thank you. And then my name is Emmanuel, president, EMS, and access needs are met. Actually, there's an alternate for today. That's probably why. Resource and environmental management, V. Okay, moving on. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Be resolved to adopt the following consent agendas by unanimous consent. Any thoughts or discussions on this? Okay. I guess I'm gonna amend on those regrets that were sent. Thank you. I'm gonna I guess strike up the current be resolved clause and replace it with this. Be resolved to ratify regrets from from the biology student union, sorry, the biology counselor, science counselor, computer science counselor, economics counselor, health science counselor, and then the science counselor as well. Any discussions, opposition to those? Okay, seeing none. Seeking unanimous consent for the consent agenda. Who wish to abstain or dissent, please signify. Seeing none, consent agenda is carried. Moving on to the adoption of the agenda. Be resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. I move. I need a seconder. OC Councillor seconds. Floor is open for lists and amendments, but while the lists come in, I wanted to clarify a couple of things. As you could see on the, I hope everyone could see the shared screen. We've created or implemented a new system in place based on the requests we've received so far. So if you do have amendments to make, we ask that you use the new document that's now underneath the calendar invite that was sent to everyone. And then you paste them on those documents so that as we move through the meeting, everyone could see the new amendments. So that's a request. You could also put them in the chat for reference, but after that, we just ask that you put it on that document so everyone can follow along. With that being said, floor is open for lists for amendments. I will list for a couple of amendments. I would like to amend on a presentation on the budget. And then I'll also like to move I would like to move in camera to before new business.
I might be mistaken, but under 10, under new business, 10.2, I think the budget's already.
Yes, it's there as a motion.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yes, with that being said, I'd like to move to amend on a presentation on the budget for 2024, 2025, and then I also like to move in camera and X camera to come before new business. I move. I need a second. Be for equity seconds. Any objections? That's those amendments. Okay, seeing none. That amendment is carried. Any other lists or amendments? Okay, I do not see any more lists, so I will proceed. I'll be resolved to adopt the agenda as amended. Seeking unanimous consent. If you wish to abstain or dissent, please signify. Seeing none, I will move on. Should have moved this. We can suspend the rule. Do you want? Okay. Okay, Simmer, I'll turn over to you. To do a quick presentation on the budget.
Okay.
Henry, if you could stop sharing, and you should have, if not, Cindy, could you please make her calls?
I think I'm able to share. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay, so just for context, this is an underspent budget. Basically what it is within the last year, of course, the budget is a budget, and then what's actually spent is what we spent throughout the year. So this Excel sheet is what was underspent last year, subject to like $1,000. So anything that was under $1,000 isn't reflected on this. So these are just line items that we didn't use the entire budget, and we were just hoping to make cuts regarding the like financial situation that we are currently in, where we want to hopefully balance out that budget over the course of the next couple of years. The highlighted items are items that I decided with FASC and with the exec team to further cut. As you can see, the new budget items are here right below. So you can see, like, for example, it was $1,150 as the original budgeted. 0 was spent, so underspent was $1,150 as well. So I proposed the new budget be $800 for that specific line item with a decrease of $350. Another example would just be, for example, like the external and community affairs. It was $10,000 budgeted from last year. Only $1,500 was used, giving $8,000 approximately underspent, and therefore we moved to make that actual budgeted amount $8,000 with a $2,000 decrease. So yeah, this is a summary, and I can just zoom out so we can see it all in one go, or let me know if, for clarity, I need to zoom in on anything. And again, feel free to ask questions or list in the chat. What the sum of this is, just with these initial cuts, and for context, we kept the cuts under 20% just to be prudent in the initial cut. And that totals around a 37,000 decrease. This decrease is basically necessary because as we're currently running our organization, our revenue amount is staying pretty stagnant while our expenses, given like inflation, everything after post-COVID, is going up. So in order to continue having a budget that balances and, well, at least isn't going into a further deficit, these cuts are necessary. And these are reflected on this overall consolidated budget. As you can see, based on this, we have some line items from communications, the events committee being a larger portion, external, student unions, and events as well. And just again, this is just cutting line items that were underspent last year just to save up what we can given the start of the year. And this would be onto the presented budget that we put out publicly.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, if anyone has any other further comments, Emmanuel and Sam, feel free to join in and add anything that you feel I've missed. Otherwise, any lists, I can take any questions or direct responses.
Thank you, VP Finance. Also, I see people already recognizing what was on the board. I forgot to clarify. If you do need to list, please raise your name tag. And then if it's a direct response, you can just raise your hands. And if it's a point of order or point of information, you just basically just do this so we know to stop the meeting and then let us know what that is. But again, that's also in response to some of the feedback we've received. So hopefully that helps in making things easier. For those online, feel free to still continue to list or do the double asterisks, yes. But yes, with that said, I saw Adriana, then geography.
Yeah, I'm on FASC and I wanted to add a little bit for counselors to help understand. Our financial situation, we have a lot of underspent line items where we've had these budgets that we're not spending to the extent of these specific aspects of our budget, including some events columns, some committee budgets, haven't been needing the money that we've been allocating towards them as well. We're running a massive, massive deficit. As is, we're pretty inevitably going to have to engage like pretty gargantuan student fee increases to be able to like repair our financial situation. So I think it's important for all of our constituents as we're looking at this budget, that very, very stark cuts are necessary to maintain our basic and essential services for students.
Thank you. Geography?
So last meeting, the underspend amount was $400,000. How's it only $37,000?
Yeah, I can answer that for you. So the $400,000 is a total underspent regarding this whole sheet, but we aren't able to cut some of these for different reasons, for example, for policy reasons, or just because FASC and the exec team don't feel that that needs to be cut yet. Again, this is just an initial cut. So the highlighted items are what sum up this 37,000 amount. So that's all of these items summed up is what we're actually cutting from. The rest is stuff that we can move on throughout the year. And for some of these items, for example, last year might have not been reflective of what's been historically represented. So maybe we want to look at maybe 3 years or 5 years past before we make a decision to cut, because these are affecting larger portions of student interest. For example, something like union core for faculty student unions, we don't want to cut that just yet because we are starting with a prudent estimate of what we want to cut for the next budget. I believe Adriana has a list.
Direct response. Yeah, just to add on to that as well, rather than engaging with all our cuts related to underspending at once, by engaging in progressive cuts, we give council more voice and more decision-making power to the degree to which they want these various line items to be cut back, rather than doing it all at once.
And just to add to that, just because there's line items on here that are underspent. Some of these items we don't even have a goal of even this year like cutting, because we feel that they are well budgeted, or that our team has different goals from the last few years that we might actually end up using more of that budget. So this sum of nearly 40K is based on the highlighted items that we are proposing to cut within the next budget.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions? Thoughts? Oh, list from Adriana.
Yeah, could you scroll to the portion that talks about cutbacks relating to committees specifically? Oh, I guess, oh, it's not on there anymore, never mind. I see the rest.
Right, so I think for context, what you were talking about was the Equity and Sustainability Committee. Originally, we had potentially proposed an idea to cut that, but I think that would require a lot of further discussion with some of the equity groups, just based on what their goals are for the year, as goals do change every single year, and we want to be a little more prudent with that. Again, on the original budget, we had some orange highlights of stuff that we want to work on throughout the year, but these yellow are just the initial cuts. Equity, for example, would be that orange cut that we would still have further discussion, maybe think of cutting throughout the year, just based on what discussions we have.
VP Internal?
Yes, that would be a lot longer discussion that would fully follow the rules stated in our issues policies around consulting our equity seeking groups.
Yeah, and just a direct response to that, that's like a perfect example of some of the items, as I think one of the counselors mentioned, why it's not the 460 amount. Things like that, there's either policy or reason behind why it's not going to be part of the initial cut, but feel free to ask questions or even suggest that maybe other line items potentially could be cut.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Adriana?
As the executive board is looking towards the future, what are some examples of broader aspects of society rather than specific line items where we might be seeing more specified tax or budget cuts in the future?
So that would be some of the stuff that we talked about on this consolidated sheet. I think looking at the line items in line item 20, just because that's something that we have a little bit more control about, is one of the bigger departments that we could seek to have more budget reductions, as well as just having discussions with a lot of the student unions and clubs, and based on what their goals are for the year, and if they can do things more prudently, if they can do things, maybe find other sources of funding. Those are discussions that we hope to have. So either, I believe that is line item 13, yeah, 13 and 12. So just talking with those leaders regarding the goals of the year and hoping to discuss the budget further with them. Another thing I want to mention is we are aware that you can't balance a budget just by decreasing expenses. So we do have plans throughout the year to increase the revenue as well in order to balance the budget.
Again, OC.
Speaking on the question of increasing revenue, which obviously is primarily relating to student fees. As the conversation of student fees is going to become more relevant over time, what is the general ethos that we're thinking of approaching student fees with? Are we trying to do as minimal as possible, knowing that we'll be in the same situation in a couple of years? Are we trying to do the exact amount we need, or are we trying to future-proof our budget down the line by instituting increases that will last a couple of years?
So that's a conversation that we've been having, trying to get exact numbers to at least balance the budget. And hopefully, of course, that is something that we are working towards, whether that's in this year alone or over the next couple of years. We hope that by presenting it in a way that's marketed to students as something that's an investment for them and not something that we're just taking money out of their pockets for, we hope to eventually do increase it by an amount that does better reflect our budget and does better benefit students. I think Emmanuel may want to speak more about that, but if not, just overall doing what we can possible with what we're given, and that would just be increasing it as much as we can to at least balance, if not more.
VP Internal, Derek respond?
Yeah, like the same. We came in this year knowing, or at least I did, knowing that there were a lot of concerns and things that were facing the society, as have been brought up in debates and such during the election campaign. So it was like we're now here. We've been given an opportunity to make things better, to hopefully to establish things in a way that can be better future-proofed, and to make sure that it's to better support students as well as the future of the organization as a whole. So I think that's the approach that we're going to be taking. There's still some ongoing discussions on it. So it's not that's the general ethos, at least where I'm coming from.
The response, OM?
Yeah, I think as Summer has mentioned multiple times, like the goal is to try and break even or find ways to break even first. As of right now, the budget is budgeted for a deficit, right? So the goal over the year for FASC and for council would be to try and then see feasible and then kind of approach options at that point.
Thank you. Again, also want to clarify, the budget is also in everyone's email. So if you cannot see those numbers properly, you should have this. But with that said, if there are no more lists or anything else, a motion to vote on this, to approve this, will be coming up later in the meeting. So if you have any more thoughts, there will still be a discussion moment during that time, so you could bring those up, but I will move on. I did move to put in camera before new business. Before that, we have reports, and then after that, we will go in camera. I will turn it over to, actually, yeah, could you share your screen? And we'll do our executive reports, and we'll do admin, and then we'll go in camera. Okay. Starting with executive reports. Over the past 2 weeks, we've been working a lot on first, this budget that came today. There's been a lot of work behind the scenes to try our best to minimize our deficit as much as possible. So thanks to everyone that played a part in that. We've also been working to, as you guys know, we have management restructuring discussions going on. So we officially, I think, started our working group last week. And there's much work that's already on the way, and we're hoping to keep council updated as we go through that process, but much work is already being done, the structure is in place, and we're starting our consultations very soon. Also met with folks at SFU, with that's the president, some VPs. And we spoke about issues that are affecting our membership, as well as SFU. And some of those are the layoffs that SFU is experiencing. Also, the budget cuts that SFU is making on their end as well. We also spoke about new initiatives that SFU is planning to bring this coming fall. Some of them includes a demographic survey that they're hoping to start, but hopefully when we have more details on that, we could share. And we also met with the GSS and so a bunch of meetings, emails, the usual. We're working with staff as well. Sure, there's more than that, but I'll leave it at that. PP internal.
Hello, everyone. So my bits for the last 2 weeks, sort of echoing what Manuel said, a lot of work on the budget, a lot of work on the healthcare plan, a lot of work on last week's dev session. Were my main things, really just providing support for other executives, and then starting up some committees and getting emails sent out for others like that. That's most of what I've been doing. There's some other just administrative stuff, signing checks, that kind of thing, but really the big picture tasks were budget and student.
PP events.
Hi, sorry. It has been an exciting couple of weeks. We have been prepping towards the fall welcome month events. It's been pretty up the top. We are planning a lot of things with SFU and as a student society in general. Apart from that, summer programming is at par. We had 2 events in the past 2 weeks, I believe. One of them would be the Eid celebration, and the other one would be the LinkedIn photo shoot, both being held last week. We are as far receiving good engagement from students, which is a really good sign for summer, especially since student turnout on campus is really low. And looking forward to a more engaging year. Apart from that, lots of email, lots of coffee, lots of talking to groups, lots of talking to clubs and DSUs. So looking forward to a productive year.
Thank you. PP Finance.
Thank you, Chloe. As we can see, just a lot of work on the budget, what the budget will look like, talking to department heads, talking to the exec team and anyone who's involved in the cuts or the additions, just to talk about what they want to see and what their goals are for the future years and how we can reflect that. Same thing with healthcare, just looking at what we're seeing over the next the next year and what's going on with that dental plan, as Sam and Emmanuel have mentioned. And as for overall, just seeing how our strategic goals of our exec team, whether that's events or external stuff, will align with the budget and how we're going to forecast those events and plan for that financially, and just overall increase student engagement with finances in mind. That's what we've been doing. And the usual signing checks as always.
Thank you.
Okay, so I've been sort of prepping for healthcare discussions with the student body after we review sort of I guess we're gonna be voting on it later today. But just preparing for whether we would be campaigning for maybe increased fees and increased benefits either through AGM or referendum. So I'm trying to meet with the peak as well as discussing some tabling ideas with Women's Center and DNA. I'm meeting with the Student Engagement Office to talk about their sort of equity concerns regarding external sponsorships. I met with the new Cal director, or the acting Cal director, Seth. Met with No Cops on Campus. They're starting programming regarding conflict resolution and de-escalation training. So there's lots of different areas where we can start implementing that within the society as well as offering it to different student groups. I've been doing media strategy stuff, restructuring stuff, and we held the first accessibility committee meeting today.
Awesome, thank you. VP External? Actually, I think he said he might have.
He's on the train, so if
Yeah,
you like
if you can.
type in chat maybe.
VP External? I'm gonna take that as you probably still not available. I could speak briefly. I pretty much know what everyone's been up to, but he's been having a lot of meetings, both on SAP side and also externally. He's working a lot with, I believe, a food security program that he's trying to implement for students. Yeah, and we've met a lot of folks, building relationships and connections. I believe he also met with Cal director earlier this week or yesterday, something like that, with the VP Equity. Yeah, next is VP University.
Yeah, just first of all, trying to get hang of people. Sorry, trying to get a hang of new staff post layoffs so that we can actually start working with the people taking care of the SFU. Working now, having meetings with them, working with the external on food security, trying to provide trying to provide good and ample food for the student membership. Committee meetings, we had our first University and Academic Affairs Committee meeting last week. Trying to increase, looking at different ways to increase student engagement. And there's 3 new events, if you want to call it, not really, trying to pull that off. One working with Chloe on getting a donation drive set up. Hopefully we can do that by next month, and hoping to do a little town hall for the executives where all the student memberships can come and put forward their concerns. And looking at different resources that we could provide the students in the sub during the finals week. Yeah, basically on that, and hoping we can continue the good work going forward.
Thank you. I think that is it for the executive management updates. Nothing. Oh, Joe basically told us a little bit about what he's been up to, but yeah, most of the stuff I said. You also met with the GSS. I setting up a meeting to connect the GSS with the SFSS. We also met with University of Fraser Valley External, and he was a part of a couple of committee meetings this past week, including FAST and Student Care Committee. And then he's looking forward to starting his own committee. Yeah, nothing from management. Any I don't assume there's anything from committees because most of them have mostly been vice chair appointments and things like that, so I will just move on to in camera. Let me get this motion going first. So be resolved to go in camera for the remainder of the meeting. I need a seconder. University seconds, seeking unanimous consent on this. Abstain or dissent, please signify. Seeing none, motion is carried unanimously. Okay, welcome back, everyone. We just got back from our end cam. I'm gonna move to go X camera, be resolved to go X camera. I need a mover.
Stay a second.
Sorry?
We need stuff, right?
No, yeah, we're just gonna go on a 5-minute break, so it's okay. Sorry, who was that second?
University.
Yes. Wait, you moved and university second.
I thought you.
I didn't move. Seek unanimous consent to go X camera. Seeing no dissents, that is carried unanimously. With that said, we will take a 5-minute break and please be back at 7:25. Thank you, Mina. Good luck with your appointment. Yes, okay. We just have, yes, we just have 2 motions for today, and I believe that would be it. That would be it. Okay, where's Sam?
The Asian election, I think you saw the one.
You need to grab something, with actually, we're going to things.
I wanted them to summarize, but it's okay, I'll do the budget first then, or, yeah. Okay, approval of the 2024-2025 budget, whereas the 2024-2025 budget was developed in the spring term and approved by the 2023-2024 Board of Directors on April 30th, 2024. As a preliminary budget, whereas bylaw 6.13 requires council to approve a final budget no later than June 30th each year. Be resolved that council approves the 2024-2025 final budget document as the final budget for the 2024-2025 year. I move, I need a seconder. If university seconds, floor is open for list and discussion. Geography.
Yeah, so with the increased cost of running events, I see that the student union grants budget has stayed steady. Is this on purpose or will it be increased in the coming months as needed? Because we way overspent it last year, I believe.
Cindy?
And just for clarification, so you're asking if that can be one of the budgets that we collect?
It's steady this year.
We did overspend, but we've previously increased it the year before. So the idea is to try and maintain within that area, because I think as mentioned, 50K of that was approved through council. So that's something we're gonna monitor, but we're gonna keep at that level.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else? Any other lists? Okay, geography.
So for the bursary contribution line item, I believe it said that the scope will be expanded on that, but the budget's going down, so we have like actual expenditures for that. It seems.
Did you say this? Sorry, the scope said it would be expanded?
Yeah, on the explainer document. For 898.31.
And you said it was static or was it decreased?
It was cut by like 49%. So
Summer?
Sorry, I'm a little confused what you're referring to. I wanted to share screen, but it's not allowing me to.
You could try and
Department 31.
Which budget specifically? Were you talking about the consolidated or this underspent?
Department 31. I believe that's private, but the reasoning behind it. But on the consolidated, it was cut by 49,000.
Cindy?
Yeah, so it wasn't necessarily cut, we didn't spend as much as budgeted because a lot of the birthday contribution was overinflated by different departments thinking that we could spend on bursaries. And then the following year, we realized that there were certain rules and regulations around that, so it went back down to the actual spending cost.
Okay. I just didn't get actuals for that, so I was confused.
Yeah, I think I don't remember the actuals exactly, but I don't know if that line was even touched at all. Is Cindy?
Yeah, so I can say that I know that some of the multiple departments actually requested that to be budgeted that previous year, so that was an increase from the year prior. And then we didn't spend that, so then it went back to the projected cost.
Yeah. I would say you could also not be too concerned. We plan to, use this line at some point this year to give back to the student body as well. So, Cindy.
That will be coming up in the upcoming council meetings.
Yes. ISSA.
Thank you. I understand that from a previous meeting, it was mentioned that a lot of what we spend actually on events, it becomes like revenue or it pays for itself. I couldn't find here on the operating budget. I would like to know how it works. And if so, why does it matter that we are decreasing our funds for events?
Sorry, could you repeat your question?
No problem, yes. It was mentioned in the previous meeting that most of what we actually spend on events becomes either revenue or it pays for itself. I don't know if it's a real thing, it happens every time, but if so, I would like to understand why we are decreasing how much we invest in events and why does it matter for the final budget. Also because I didn't see that like in the revenue section, if nothing mentioned about events. So I would like to understand how this actually works or how it is forecasted.
Events.
So yes, you're mostly correct. We do use most of the budget for things such as deposits and booking stuff, but budget is mostly forecasted in case we are doing events which are giving out money instead of making money in or keep bringing it in. So as per my last conversation with Simon, this $80,000 amount decided upon is mostly for deposits and also sponsorships that can lead to either an increment in the amount or costs occurred which are last minute or not planned in the initial plans.
Okay.
UA?
Yeah, and there's gonna be always like some events that we do free to students, like for example, Monty Mondays, or when we had the Valentine's party last year. There's gonna be some events that are just free to the student body and we just lose money on that, but that's more for the student engagement part and not just making money at the end of the day. We are non.
Does that answer your question? Anyone else? Cindy?
Yeah, I think are you also looking for like the revenue that have been, that usually goes back to the events budget? You might be able to see more of that under the events department. If you find it.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, seeing none. I'm gonna seek unanimous consent on this budget. If you wish to abstain or dissent, please signify. I don't see any. The final budget is officially approved. For 2024-2025. And then our next motion reads, whereas council has been notified about the status of the student health and dental plan. Whereas maintaining the services has been a priority for the SFSS. We resolved to approve the SFSS health and dental plan renewal as proposed by the executive committee. I move. I need a second. University was open for lists. Geography list.
So like what's your proposal for this year look like?
VP Term.
Thank you. This is your student care programs. 2 years ago, we got a 2-year rate guarantee, keeping our healthcare costs below the by like $1 below the fee that was collected by students. This allowed us to put a small amount of money into our reserve fund. Over those 2 years, the expectation was that the council and executive would run a information campaign and then referendum on the investment that the healthcare plan is to get funding permission from students to be able to levy a inflation increasing yearly fee increase for the student care plan. However, that was not taken. The executives of their time did not end up doing that. So or end up putting enough energy into invest into the information campaign, at least portion of it. So that did not happen. With our health and dental care plan this time, we are no longer on that fixed rate guarantee. So our healthcare costs have jumped significantly, meaning there are several minor health reductions that are healthcare insurance reductions that are happening this year. Our healthcare plan has 2 insurance benefits, one the enhanced plan and 2 the basic plan. The majority of students are on the enhanced plan. With that, the reductions that have been presented to that are being recommended by the executive committee are a $25 decrease in the amount provided for eyeglasses and contact lenses, a $20 decrease in the amount provided for, sorry, I'm blanking on this one, apologies.
Eye exams.
On eye exams, a
$10 reduction in paramedical practitioners.
a $10 reduction in the paramedical practitioners. That is the reductions in the healthcare portion of the plan. Within the dental portion of the plan, preventative service coverage is being reduced by 10% of the total, as well as basic services are also being reduced the coverage by 10% of the total cost. Yeah, they're the exact same cuts to the basic plan as well. Basic plan starts off at a lower level though, and this was not an action taken lightly. This was something that had a lot of discussion within the executive committee and within council as well, and is something that is happening with the goal of being able to run the campaign on why our insurance plan is a investment. That it's an investment in students and to hopefully be able to do what our predecessors as a team did not, and increase the fees, and then also be able to return to the same level of benefits we provided before, as we know that this is, for many students, the only health insurance they have and is incredibly valuable. Then yeah, that's pretty much the spiel for today. We'll be coming out with more information, more pieces around the importance and how this is important to everyone and what it does exactly in future meetings and over the course of the summer. I will allow the VP Equity will also be speaking more on this.
VP Equity.
Yeah, so this is a tough situation. It's not a situation that we want to be in. I'm not a finance guy, so it's hard for me to talk about the exact numbers, but I do just want to express that within the discussions amongst the executives and especially within the discussions amongst council that we've been having, you know, like this is kind of hard for us to do, and it's kind of hard for us to accept as a reality of where we are. And I'm really happy with the discussions that we've been having both here in council and amongst the community in general about why this issue matters and how this is going to affect students and what we can do to prevent any further harm from reduction in coverage. There's been some really great ideas around campaigning on this issue, how we can discuss this with our constituents in upcoming referendums or AGMs. And I just wanted to say thank you to council for, you know, your contributions and willingness to sort of work with us on this issue. And I know that, you know, I don't think any of us are happy to do this, so there's going to be a lot going forward that I think that we can work together on. That's going to be less sad than this motion, but yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, this is a tough situation, and so thank you for all of your guys' hard work on this.
VP Internal.
Just to add on to that briefly, when earlier I'd mentioned that the 2-year rate guarantee allowed us to add a small amount of additional funds to our reserve for the last 2 years. The reductions that we have put in place for this year also take into account using that reserve. So this is our year to be able to make changes to how the plan is paid for. Otherwise, the executive team and council for the next year will be in the same position as we are now.
Thank you. Any other lists? Geography.
How did you decide on the exact benefits to cut?
Oh, that's a finance question. Before it's
Most of that information is confidential. I will say that we were provided options by student care, and then it was a very long and emotionally fraught and quite serious discussion within the executives over a period of a couple weeks and within staff. Yeah.
So can I ask, like, specifically what makes those conversations in camera, like what criteria that falls under?
I'll hand over to student care representative.
Yeah, so just to answer the question more directly, why these list of benefits were recommended is because there are existing networks around these benefits to be able to offset the out-of-pocket costs that students would otherwise have to incur while accessing these benefits. We've also tried to limit the benefit reductions in areas that are least life-altering for students. So things like prescription drugs, for example, which are usually life-altering for students, are not impacted. Whereas the reductions are more targeted to benefits that can be accessed through other savings and discounts through networks.
Any other lists?
Just want to close earlier piece. The section under ongoing contracts. Where it's a contract up for review.
Because we're passing the motion now. But would you be able to answer that question after? We
There's
pass this?
still some pieces of it that were around maybe both this year and other years that might be important.
Yeah, I mentioned, we discussed, the proposal, but we don't have a final document.
So this doesn't count. This what we're passing right now.
What doesn't count?
I think I'm confused. Yeah, we can just move on. I don't know if this is super important, but I'm just having trouble with the exact which parts of it we can talk about, which parts we can't.
Nothing that we talked about right now has reached our.
But how we come to those decisions. Okay.
I think Ellie answered it.
Yeah.
Because it was mostly around, we try to think of the places where less impact that students would face, as Ellie has mentioned. And also with the current student care plan, there are several networks that they do have that provide students. Even though there is gonna be cuts in these areas, it's still wouldn't be a significant impact on students because of the networks and the partnerships that do exist with student care.
I understand that the question has been answered. I think I'm just upset that I don't understand in camera.
I think we let each other down a rabbit hole.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we're moving on. We're moving on.
Any other list about this? Oh, see?
In terms of draft plannings for student fee increases and plans going forward, do we have a timeline?
Pardon me?
Do we have a timeline for planning the scope of what services we'd like to restore with student fee increases?
I think that's something the healthcare committee is gonna work on. I believe you're on that. No, maybe not, I don't know, but I believe that's something the healthcare committee is gonna work on, but I'm sure it's gonna be sometime before the end of this executive team, I can tell you that. As for when, I think there still needs to be decisions made as to what's the best way for us to run a successful campaign, whether that's during our AGM or a separate referendum. But I think during the conversation, the healthcare committee could further talk about. And then, of course, the healthcare committee would always report back to council, so we'll stay up to date on whatever decision is made. Anything else? Okay, seeing nothing, I'll just also add that as we sadly had to make some of these cuts, the first thing in our mind was an operational plan or a strategic plan to bring back those benefits. And if possible, also make them better. So with that said, even though these cuts are gonna happen, we want students to know that this decision was made with us forward looking, and I was thinking of ways to actually put students in a same or even better place than what they currently get. And with that said, I'm going to seek, I don't think this is going to be contested, so I'll just seek unanimous consent for this motion to accept the health and dental plan with proposal by the executive. If you wish to abstain or dissent, please signify now. Seeing none, this motion is carried unanimously. Thank you, guys. With that in mind, I believe VP Equity is already working on a communications plan. Yes, to effectively get this out to our student body and pass on the information in the best way possible. I think at this point, I know some have requested when it's possible for them to share this information with their constituents. I think at this point, it's something you could bring to your constituents, specifically the areas that we will be making changes, maybe not some of the parts we covered in camera, but things that have to do with the actual changes that we'll be making to the plan. They're now public and you could discuss them with your respective student unions, student groups, and constituency groups.
I will be sending out a follow-up email regarding anybody who's interested in participating in this campaign, including working on sort of a brief that summarizes things a little bit more concisely and approachably and accessibly to your constituents. Hopefully we can get that out to you guys as soon as possible if you guys are interested in sort of dispersing this information in a way that you think would be beneficial. In terms of like actual campaign strategies, media strategies, I think those will be like further meetings. But you guys will get updates pretty quickly.
Awesome. Moving on, I think that was all on the agenda. Moving on to announcements. Is there any final words before I move to adjournment? Seeing none, maybe update on, yes.
Night on Friday.
Right, I believe that's been dropped in the chat as well, but like you heard, there is an event this Friday. And I believe there's also a discount out right now, so.
All counselors get 50% off. Come see me.
So there's that, there was something else Chloe was talking about, but I think I missed it. But
Oh, barbecue, center barbecue.
tomorrow, yes, if you're on campus, enjoy that. And then lastly, maybe an update on next week's div session, if we know,
We're just waiting on
confirmation.
confirmation. It'll likely be virtual, but we'll send out an email.
Okay, so keep an eye out for that. It will be a mandatory session next week. So please keep an eye out for that. Other than that, I think that is it. Yeah, I know it's midterm season. Good luck to those still writing midterms, those that have already written your midterms. I hope they went well. So if there's nothing else, I will move to adjournment. Be resolved to adjourn the meeting at, wait 2 minutes. I know, I like to end my meetings on a definite time, but it's okay. Anyone have anything they want to talk about for 1 minute? If not, it's okay.
What do you